Section 3. Action Research and Practice. In this section, we bring theory to life through a practical example of action research and review ways of sharing or publishing findings. What is an example of an action research project in TESOL? As discussed in Section 2, teachers can use different designs and data collection methods in action research. Here, we will look at a qualitative context-specific action research example from Ms. Sarah, an EFL writing instructor at a foundation college. Ms. Sarah had a class of B1 level EAP writing with 30 college students. She noticed that many students struggled with essay organization. Their writing often lacked clear thesis statements, coherent paragraphing, and smooth transitions. She decided to investigate this issue through action research. To understand the problem more deeply, Ms. Sarah reviewed several student essays to identify recurring weaknesses. She also held a class discussion to ask students what challenges they face in organizing ideas. With the information, Ms. Sarah read research literature on second language writing and discourse organization. From this review, she decided to implement a strategy focusing on explicit pre-writing planning and peer collaboration. Next, Ms. Sarah shared her idea with a colleague, Ms. Layla, who agreed to collaborate as a co-researcher. Together, they planned 2 action research cycles. In Cycle 1, they introduced the pre-writing planner and observe its impact. And in Cycle 2, they refined the strategy based on their reflections from Circle 1 and collected more data. They agreed to collect qualitative, formative evidence, student writing, reflections, teacher journals, observations, rather than statistical data. After preparing the proposal, the instructors submitted it to the University Review Board and Ethics Committee and received approval. Next, they informed students about the study and clarified the participation rights and obtained informed consent from them. Before starting the new writing strategy, Ms. Sarah administrated a diagnostic essay. This baseline sample gave the instructors a clear picture of students' initial organizational skills. Next, Ms. Sarah introduced and modeled the pre-writing planner, guided students through writing essays using the planner, and asked them to write short reflections after each essay. Meanwhile, Ms. Layla observed several lessons and recorded structured field notes on engagement and collaboration. Ms. Sarah also kept a reflective teaching journal. At the end of Cycle 1, the instructors analyzed the data. Students' paragraphs showed clearer internal structure, but transitions between paragraphs remained weak. This became the focus for Cycle 2. In Cycle 2, the instructors adjusted the strategy. Peer review activities were added, focusing on transitions and overall coherence. Students continued using the pre-writing planner. Observations, reflections, and student journals were collected as before. End of Cycle 2 results showed that essays had better interparagraph transitions, more logical flow, and the students' confidence and awareness of essay structure had increased. In the last reflection stage, the instructors analyzed the data holistically. First, they compared student essays from the baseline, Cycle 1, and Cycle 2 descriptively. Then, they analyzed student reflections and teacher journals to see how learning and teaching had developed. Finally, they reflected on classroom observations which highlighted engagement patterns and remaining needs. With this, they compiled a report summarizing main improvements, insights into teaching practice, and implications for future instruction. In the end, Ms. Sarah and Ms. Layla presented their findings at a departmental workshop. They shared their findings on the usefulness of pre-writing planning, the role of peer feedback, and the practical recommendations.
Where and how to publish action research. Action research is growing in the TESOL community because of its practitioner-focused and context-specific nature. Action research can be presented in conferences or published in scholarly journals. The following steps can help find the right journal. Analyze your paper. Check the purpose, findings, scale, audience, and style of your paper. Is it a formal research article or a practical one for teachers? Check your references for potential journals. Check your list of references to find frequently cited journals. You can also use journal matching tools, such as Elsevier's Journal Finder, Springer's Journal Suggester, or databases, such as Jane. Read journal aims and scope. Look for keywords like practitioner research, classroom-based inquiry, or action research. Read recent issues. Read some of the recent articles, abstracts, from the journal's latest issues. Check if your topic, methodology, style, and length match. Also, check if the journal publishes practicing teachers. Check metrics and practicalities. Consider the journal's prestige, acceptance rate, indexing, such as Scopus, Web of Science, or ERIC, timing, review type, audience, teachers versus researchers, and publication model. There may be an article processing charge. Consider the scope of generalizability. Action research is often context-specific, so choose a journal that appreciates this nuance, not broad generalizability. Avoid predatory journals. Avoid journals that send unsolicited emails, have poorly defined scopes, promise rapid publication, and have unclear or hidden fees. Check journal listing. Before publishing, check if the journal is listed in a reputable directory like DOAJ, Directory of Open Access Journals, or is a member of COPE, Committee on Publication Ethics. For further information on the academic publication, please refer to the course offered last year by Dr. Amin. It is accessible on Dhofar University CPS webpage. There are prestigious journals in TESOL and other disciplines that may be interested in publishing quality work of action research, including TESOL Quarterly, TESOL Journal, Language Teaching Research, Action Research, Educational Action Research, Reflective Practice Journal.
This brings us to the end of the course on action research. I hope you have found it useful and that it has given you more ideas for your next research project. Thank you very much for your time and attention.